Good thing you called me up. No easy way to put this. You seem to have a little bit of an alternate universe going on in there.
Gosh, not again.
I know, I see it all the time. You know, these old apartments, they're full of surprises. You tear down a wall, the wiring's not to code. And then you open a closet, and there's an alternate universe going on inside of it. So, you know, it's nothing to worry about. I can fix it, see it all the time.
Well, how long do you think it's going to take?
Well, let's see. So we got to take out the old alternate universe, then we're going to have to rewire the closet and put on some
all right. How much? Like $100?
About $250 an hour. That'll do it for you.
Well, I mean, what am I supposed to do for an hour? Well, Bill, thanks for joining me as we talk about a movie. Usually my wife does this, but she's on a business trip right now out of town.
No problem. You're paying me by the hour, right?
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, why not? By the way, look what I found. I ran over a witch doctor on my way home the other day, and he had this in his pocket, so I thought, I mean, probably worth a few bucks, right?
It seems to me like what you got here is an ancient artifact. It might be cursed. It could account for the alternate dimension. I can fix it if you want me to.
Really?
Yeah, for a small charge of an extra, $800.
Oh, yeah, sure thing. No problem. I guess we'll just keep it right here in my skull display holder right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to keep it there, that'll work. I can work on it while we do the review.
Don't break it. That's ancient.
All right, now Charlie and I, last night, went to the cemetery and we dug up my great-great-grandfather's grave. Because we were looking for a crystal skull. It's supposed to be magic. Anyway, we dug it up and we got the skull, but we also found my great-great-grandfather. He's dead, but he's alive. I mean, he's a mummy, and we brought him back and he's been staying in the basement.
House 2, the second story, is about a young man who inherits a house that's a portal to an alternate universe, which he explores with his dead great-great-grandpa, his Uzi-wielding friend, and a caterpillar dog. So this is one of those Halloween movies that I have to rewatch every year because it's amazing. It's got everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a alternate dimension, it's got a baby pterodactyl, it's got dinosaurs, it's got zombies, it's got... Who wrote this movie? Did some 5-year-old kid write this movie?
That's what it feels like. It is very stream of conscious. I think that's one reason that I love it so much. It's like a family-friendlier version of Evil Dead 2, where just anything can happen, and things go crazy, but... No, there's no but. That's just it. Everything goes crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
I thought it was going to be a horror comedy, and it starts off as that.
Jess, come on. I don't have time for this, Jess.
But then it's really more of an adventure comedy.
Yeah.
With some slapstick horror elements.
Jess, get him off! He's in my leg!
Yeah, I mean, people come in and out of this movie. There's no rules. Like, his girlfriend's there at the beginning. You think she's gonna be a major character, but then they break up and she's never mentioned again. There's no follow-up on that at all. And then they have a baby pterodactyl that follows them in, and he's trying to steal the ancient artifact. And then they just kind of accept him as part of their family. And then there's Aztecs, and then there's this electrician guy who shows up. He was my favorite character.
Yeah.
Bill Towner, electrician.
Jesse McLaughlin.
Nice to meet you, Jesse. A young lady called, said you needed some work done.
She did, huh? Oh, right.
What is the fuse box down there in the basement?
So they call an electrician, apparently, and John Ratzenberger shows up.
I've seen enough tragedy and disaster to make you want to upchuck in your shorts. You see, these old houses, they just got minds of their own, and you just got to teach them who's boss. Sort of give them a spanking. Must be foreign made.
There's no, okay, so he comes in, and he starts pulling the wiring out of the walls, and it just keeps coming, and it tears down the walls, and they're off in the other room, trying to, like, protect the skull, and then he's like, hey, you got an alternate dimension over here, and then he just acts like it's totally normal.
Looks like you got some kind of alternate universe in there or something.
And after they're done adventuring in this ancient Aztec temple, he gives him a card and says, oh, yeah, I'm an electrician and adventurer.
Yeah, he specifies adventure on his card. Do you think they have a union for adventurers?
Electricians and adventurers.
Who was that man?
Let's talk about Gramps.
Gramps. He's awesome. I love Gramps.
Did you ever rob a stagecoach? Sure. Right. All the time.
Gramps is great-great-grandfather of main character Jesse. They go to dig him up at the beginning when it's still like a horror comedy, and he jump out and he attacks them, and you think he's gonna be this scary money guy, but then he takes off his mask and he's just like a friendly old decaying grandpa. Both the guys just accept this, and then they move on with the story, and he's just another character. It's never really referenced that he's a zombie. Just kind of is a thing about him.
I love the reasoning for digging him up, also, because he opened up an old history book of his family, and he says, oh, look, there's this old ancient crystal skull that has magic powers, supposedly. And ancient Aztecs used to bury their dead with their belongings. So let's go dig up my great-great-grandfather.
Who is not an Aztec.
Exactly.
Got it, Charlie?
This is one of those movies that I love to show people without telling them anything about it. Because it starts off fairly straightforward of these kids go to this old house and you think spooky things are gonna happen to them. But at the point when they dig up the grandpa, that's when people, most of the time, when they first see this, they go, wait, what? It's the same movie along the same lines of The World's End, where it starts off pretty straightforward, you think you know what kind of movie it's going to be, and then takes a left turn all of a sudden. Only in this film, the left turns just keep turning into more left turns, and it never ends. That's another thing about it, is that House 2 is a sequel. Now, you've never seen the first House movie.
From what I understand, it has absolutely nothing to do.
No, this is an anthology series produced by, I believe it's the director of Friday the 13th. And he produced all the films in this series. And the first one is very similar to this one. It's a horror comedy, but it's not quite as ridiculous. It's much more restrained. In a way. Basically, that one restricts it to more of, oh, there's monsters and ghosts in this house. And there's nothing really beyond that. Whereas this one, they throw in all this fantasy elements and stop motion effects and these pterodactyls and dinosaurs and caterpillar dogs and that kind of stuff.
You just never know what you're gonna find in this movie. Need a hand?
You just pulled a severed hand out of your tool. But who was this movie made for? Because it's not scary enough to draw in the horror audience at all. But it's not kid-friendly, even though it's very goofy. Like, there are things in here that would scare kids, and there are some jokes that are a little too risque for kids.
That I'd be taken up to hyperspace. It seems so strange.
It's kind of floating somewhere in the middle.
I think somebody had a couple drinks, just got to his typewriter and just wrote the first thing that came to his mind off the top of his head. And somehow somebody said, "This is brilliant," and then donated a crap ton of money to it.
I think someone gave their 5-year-old child a couple drinks and a typewriter.
5-year-old kid gets some coffee.
And then they grab an Uzi out of their car, and then they go in and they fight some dinosaurs in the hidden walls of their house. And then he pulls out the gun, but it's really a lighter. And then a pterodactyl steals the skull, and then he drops it, and then the guy jumps up and he grabs the skull, and then he falls out of the tree, and they fall back into their house.
And then there's a caterpillar dog. For no reason that has nothing to do with the plot.
Yeah, the caterpillar dog didn't do anything.
No, it literally does not serve the plot at all. Character.
Ah, son of a... So, I've seen this movie probably about 3 or 4 times now, and each time I watch it, I still greatly enjoy this movie. I think I made that abundantly clear in this review. I do think I can't watch it more than once a year, because I do think eventually it would grow old. You don't need to watch the other films in the series to enjoy this one, or not enjoy as you may see fit. I would recommend this movie if you're having a Halloween party and throw it on with a bunch of friends. Otherwise, don't. If you're spending Halloween alone, please don't watch this. That's just really sad.
I can't believe you've made me watch this movie like 3 times. You have terrible taste. I mean, yeah, I guess it's okay if, yeah. I guess it's okay if you got nothing better to do, and I can watch it a couple times.
I can't tell if you're being serious. So, yeah, can we take care of that alternate universe in my closet?
Yeah, sure.
What do we have to do? Do we have to, like, do some magical hocus pocus, trigonometry, physiology, whatever, over this skull? Or, I mean, what do we have to do?
Yeah, I think we can just... Should have something in here that can
Do we have to,
knock it
like,
out.
pull out a Ouija board and, like, cut our hands over it? And,
Well, I would say I would just duct tape it, but I'm all out of duct tape. All I got is this packing tape, so I think I can just knock it out with a hammer. Joe, home for my trip. Joe?
Sente